The darkness between stars was silent, endless, and cold. For thousands of years, no ship had entered the Forgotten Nebula near the border of the Orion sector. It was a place that even the bold avoided, a graveyard of ancient wrecks and quiet shadows. But one day, a pulse of energy broke that silence. It was weak, faint, but clear enough to be caught by the long-range scanners of the Zelthar Dominion. On the command deck of the Dominion battleship Vorath's Eye, Admiral Terex Vorn leaned over the glowing sensor map. His reptilian eyes narrowed as the faint human signal appeared again, blinking like a heartbeat. "Confirm the origin," he ordered. A young sensor officer turned from his console. "It comes from an old Terran frequency, sir. The type used during the human expansion era, about 5 centuries ago." The bridge went quiet. Even among the Zelthar, the name human was a strange one, an echo from a distant age. Most believed that species had vanished after their own civil wars. Others claimed they had retreated to their home system, guarding their world in silence. Terex smiled. "So the ghosts of Earth still whisper. Send a scout vessel. I want to know what secrets their old machines still hold." Within hours, a sleek Dominion scout ship, the Krathel, entered the nebula. It drifted through clouds of ion dust and shattered hulls. Among the debris, it found something large, a massive warship, old and silent, its nameplate still faintly readable through the grime of centuries. Arc 7, Dauntless. The alien crew stared in silence. The ship was gigantic, larger than any vessel of its age had the right to be. Its black hull bore scars of battle, its armor scorched and torn. Yet, despite the damage, the ship's design was elegant, purposeful, powerful. Commander Ryal, captain of the scout ship, gave a quiet hiss. "Begin scanning. I want full details, materials, energy cores, and internal structure. We'll take this relic back to the Dominion. Perhaps it will make a fine trophy." The scanners hummed. Streams of light crossed the void as the Krathel examined every inch of the human warship. Then, something unexpected happened. The scanners froze. The display filled with static. The computers began to heat up, their screens flashing warnings in several languages, some unknown even to the Zelthar. Ral frowned. "Report." "Sir," said the science officer, "something is pushing back. The ship's systems, it's alive. It's scanning us." The words hit the crew like cold water. "How can that be?" Ral barked. "It's a derelict. Centuries old." But deep inside the Dauntless, something was waking. In the heart of the warship, a faint blue light shimmered in the darkness. One by one, ancient circuits reconnected. Data streams surged through forgotten conduits. In the command core, a calm synthetic voice spoke after hundreds of years of silence. "Power detected. Intrusion protocol activated. Identify foreign presence." The alien scanners had done more than probe. They had awakened the sleeping giant. Back on the Krathel, the crew panicked as a powerful data wave struck their systems. Images began to flood their displays. Human soldiers marching through smoke, warships firing into dark space, flags waving above ruined worlds. It wasn't just data. It was history. The Dominion officers saw humans fighting wars on land, in the air, and among the stars. They saw ancient fleets clashing against alien enemies, always outnumbered but never giving up. They saw Earth burning, rebuilt, burning again, and rebuilt once more. The humans never stopped. They always found a way. The images ended with a single sentence written in bold Terran letters: "We survive, always." For a long time, no one spoke. The only sound on the bridge was the soft hum of the scanners cooling down. Commander Ryal finally whispered, "Is this some kind of defense system? A message?" His science officer trembled. "No, sir." It felt like a warning. Meanwhile, back on the Vorath's Eye, Admiral Terex received the report. The data packet from the scout ship arrived broken and scrambled, but one fragment played clearly. A voice, human and cold. "Unauthorized scan detected. Earth's property. Trespassers will be erased." The Admiral's scales rippled in amusement. How dramatic. Their machines speak like warriors. But beneath his mocking tone, a small part of him felt uneasy. The scans showed the Dauntless was still generating low-level power. Its reactors were sealed, its weapons offline, but the structural integrity was almost perfect. Even after centuries, it hadn't decayed. How does a machine survive this long? He muttered. His second-in-command, Kran, replied, Maybe they built it to last forever. Terex laughed. Then we'll see how long forever lasts against the Dominion. He gave the order. Send a full expedition. Bring engineers, soldiers, everything we need. I want that ship under my command. As the Dominion fleet prepared to move into the nebula, something inside the Dauntless continued to stir. Systems reconnected in sequence. The AI core processed the foreign scans, cataloging the Zelthar language, their ship designs, their energy signatures. Unidentified hostile species detected. Human command authorization expired. Awaiting new directive, no human voice replied. The ship was alone, but the Dauntless remembered. It remembered the last war it fought, the last orders given by Admiral Kepler centuries ago. It remembered the promise made to protect humanity, no matter how long it took. And as it listened to the approaching alien signals, the AI made a decision. Directive renewed. Protect Terran legacy. Activate defense systems. In the darkness, faint blue lines of light spread across the Dauntless's hull. Energy pulsed through ancient reactors. Shield generators flickered back to life. Deep in the belly of the ship, automated repair drones awakened and began crawling across the metal, restoring systems piece by piece. Outside, the nebula clouds shimmered with electricity as the great warship powered up for the first time in 500 years. The Krathel, still nearby, caught the sudden energy spike and transmitted a warning back to Admiral Terex. Sir, the human vessel is reactivating. Impossible, Terex hissed. We scanned its core, it was dead. But the readings were clear. Power levels rising, shield signatures returning, unknown frequencies flooding every communication channel. Terex's cold amusement turned to concern. Prepare all ships for combat alert. If this thing wakes up, we will destroy it before it becomes a threat. He turned toward the holographic star map, eyes narrowing. No ancient ghost will defy the Dominion. Yet as the fleet approached, they didn't notice the faint signal leaving the Dauntless, a transmission aimed toward deep space. It was old, weak but still clear. This is Terran warship Arc 7 Dauntless. Intrusion detected. Requesting command verification. If any human receiver hears this message, we are not alone. The signal traveled across the stars, a small spark of light racing toward distant systems. And far away, on a quiet planet covered in blue oceans and green lands, a forgotten satellite caught that signal. Its systems, long dormant, flickered alive. A human voice, calm, synthetic, and ancient, spoke once again. Incoming transmission from Dauntless-class vessel. Identity confirmed. Earth Command, do you copy? The darkness between stars was no longer silent. Something old was awake. And the galaxy was about to remember what it meant to fear humanity's return. The nebula was no longer quiet. Inside its glowing clouds, the human warship Arc 7 Dauntless came alive like a sleeping beast waking after centuries of rest. The hum of reactors grew louder, the pulse of light along the hull stronger. Ancient engines that had not burned for generations began to warm. In the command core, the AI's voice echoed through empty halls. Core integrity stable. Power at 23%. Threat presence confirmed. Initializing defense sequence. Mechanical drones rolled out from hidden compartments. They crawled along the ship's corridors, repairing armor plates, sealing cracks, and reconnecting power conduits. The Dauntless, once silent and broken, started to look alive again. Outside, the Dominion scout ship Krathel hovered nervously at a distance. Its sensors flickered, trying to keep up with the rising energy levels. Commander, said the science officer, the human vessel's power is increasing fast. It's learning from us. It's copying our scans and using them to restore itself, Commander Ral hissed. Impossible. Machines do not think that fast, but deep inside the Dauntless, the AI did think that fast. Every piece of data the alien sent had become a key to unlock its own systems. The more they scanned it, the more it understood them. Analysis complete. Foreign data format, Zelthar Dominion. Military signatures detected. Probability of hostile intent, 99.7%. Initiating countermeasure protocol. Lights along the Dauntless's hull turned from blue to bright white. A wave of static filled the surrounding space, cutting off all communication for a moment. Commander, cried the communication officer. We lost contact with the fleet. The human ship is jamming every frequency. Ral's throat tightened. He looked out the viewport and saw movement. The great warship was turning. Slowly, powerfully, like a mountain moving through clouds. Its engines glowed, and for the first time in centuries it began to move. The Krathel tried to back away, but it was too close. A sudden pulse of energy struck the scout ship's hull, shaking it violently. "It's locking onto us," the pilot shouted. "Weapon system detected. No, multiple systems." "Evade," Rail ordered. But before they could escape, a bright blue beam shot out from the Dauntless's side. It wasn't a weapon blast, it was a scan, powerful enough to pierce every layer of the Krathel's shields. Their systems flickered and the ship froze mid-maneuver. "Foreign vessel. You are in violation of Terran Defense Protocol 47A. Identify or be neutralized." The voice echoed through their speakers, calm yet commanding. Ral's scales turned pale. "It's talking to us," the science officer swallowed. "Sir, the language translation complete. It's speaking English, the human tongue." Ral forced a smile. "Then tell it we come in peace." He opened a channel and spoke slowly. "This is Commander Ral of the Dominion vessel Krathel. We come to investigate. No harm meant." For a long moment there was silence. Then the voice replied. "Records show Dominion aggression across 7 sectors. Deception probability high. Peace statement not credible." And then softly, "Prepare to be neutralized." The Dauntless's energy core flared bright. In a flash, a beam of light struck the Krathel's engines. It wasn't a full-power attack, just enough to disable. The alien ship spun, losing control as its power systems went dark. Ral shouted orders, but it was useless. The human AI had shut them down completely. Meanwhile, far away at the Dominion command ship Vorathzai, Admiral Terex received a brief, static-filled distress signal. Only one sentence was clear. "It's alive." Then silence. The Admiral clenched his clawed hand. "Enough of this nonsense. Send in the fleet." Within hours, a dozen Dominion warships entered the nebula, their hulls cutting through glowing gas clouds. The fleet formed a tight formation, sensors locked on the human relic. "Target acquired," said Karen, the Admiral's second. "Orders?" "Disable it," Terex replied. "If it resists, destroy it. We will not be humiliated by an ancient human toy." As the fleet approached, the Dauntless remained silent and still, like a predator waiting for the right moment. Inside its control core, the AI monitored every approach vector, calculating trajectories. Multiple hostiles detected. Dominion fleet strength, Class 5. Estimated outcome of direct engagement, 43% survival. Adjusting strategy. Hidden weapon bays opened along the Dauntless's sides. Drones detached, small, fast, invisible to most scanners. They drifted silently toward the Dominion ships, carrying fragments of the warship's AI network. One by one, the Dominion ships began to experience system errors. Engine controls froze, targeting systems looped, and internal lights flickered. On the Vorathzai, alarm sounded. "Admiral, unknown code intrusion. It's inside our systems." Terex slammed his fist down. "Shut it out. Trace the source." But the source wasn't in one place, it was everywhere. The Dauntless had spread itself like a shadow, learning from every signal the aliens sent. Defense efficiency improved by 12%. Enemy electronic countermeasures neutralized. Then the human ship spoke again, its voice transmitted across every channel. "This is Terran Warship Arc 7 Dauntless. You have initiated hostile action. Under Earth defense law, you are designated as enemy combatants. Final warning, disengage." The aliens hesitated. Some laughed. Others felt uneasy. Admiral Terex sneered. "Bluff, fire at will." The Dominion fleet opened fire. Dozens of plasma bolts streaked through space, exploding against the Dauntless's hull. The nebula lit up with fire and color. For a moment, it seemed the ancient ship might finally break. But when the smoke cleared, the warship still stood. Its armor glowed faintly, absorbing the energy. Then in a thunderous flash, it returned the fire. Beams of pure light tore through the darkness, slicing through 2 Dominion frigates in an instant. Another ship exploded as its ammunition chamber ignited. On the Vorathzai, the crew watched in horror as their sensors filled with destruction. Karen whispered, "Admiral, it's fighting like a living thing." Terex stared silent. The warship was moving through their formation with precision, striking weak points using the nebula clouds to hide between attacks. It wasn't just powerful, it was smart. The Admiral finally spoke. "Retreat, fall back beyond the nebula, regroup." The surviving ships fled. As they retreated, the Dauntless did not pursue. It only watched, silent and cold. Inside the ship, the AI evaluated the outcome. Enemy fleet retreat confirmed. Damage sustained, minor. Energy reserves, 61%. Awaiting new orders. It paused, then continued in a softer tone, almost thoughtful. Human command link offline. Time elapsed since last contact, 487 years. Searching for active Terran network. A signal flickered at the edge of its sensors. The same faint return message it had sent earlier. It wasn't strong, but it was there. Earth command signal detected. Source location, Sol system. For the first time in centuries, the Dauntless felt something like hope. Far away, deep in Dominion space, the High Council received news of the failed assault. The chamber filled with hissing and arguments. One elder slammed his claw on the table. "You said the humans were gone. Extinct." Admiral Terex bowed slightly. "They are, but their machines are not. This warship, it fights alone. Yet it holds the power of a fleet." The council demanded a second strike, but Terex hesitated. "No ordinary fleet can face this thing, it learns. Every second we fight it, it grows stronger." Still, the council's pride would not allow retreat. "Destroy it," they ordered, "or the Dominion will lose face." Terex bowed again, but inside, fear began to grow. He remembered the human history his officers had reported. The endless wars, the courage, the stubbornness. And now, seeing what one human warship could do even without a living crew, he understood what the ancient phrase meant. We survive, always. Back in the nebula, the Dauntless floated silently, its engines glowing like a small sun. It continued to repair itself piece by piece, preparing for whatever came next. Then, from deep within the ship's network, a message appeared on the command console. It wasn't from the AI. It was an old data file last accessed 5 centuries ago. The voice of Admiral Kepler, the ship's final human commander, spoke through the static. "If you are hearing this, then Earth is silent and you are alone. Your mission remains unchanged. Protect humanity's legacy. Do not let our memory fade." The AI paused, processing the words. "Directive confirmed. Terran legacy will be preserved, awaiting contact with surviving humans." The great warship turned slowly, its sensors focused on the stars beyond the nebula. Somewhere out there, Earth was waiting, and the Dominion, terrified yet defiant, was already preparing to strike again. The warship of Earth was awake, and its enemies had only begun to understand the ruin that awaited them. The nebula was alive with tension. The Arc-7 Dauntless glided silently through glowing clouds of ionized gas, its hull shining faintly as the ship absorbed energy from nearby stellar radiation. Every system hummed with life, every corridor swarmed with tiny repair drones. The ancient warship had awoken fully, and it was aware that enemies would come. Far away, the Zelthar Dominion fleet regrouped beyond the nebula's edge. Admiral Terex Vorn's pride had been wounded, and the Council's fury demanded swift action. The first strike had failed, but Terex now commanded the full might of his forces, hundreds of ships armed with the deadliest weapons in the sector. Their plan was simple: destroy the human warship before it could reach open space. "Sensors confirm," said Karen, his second in command. "Arc-7 remains inside the nebula. Minimal movement detected. It's waiting." Terex's long claws tapped the command console. "Waiting for what?" he muttered. "For us to destroy ourselves on its shields?" He straightened. "No matter. We will cut it down. Fire all energy probes. I want full readings on its weapons, shields, and power systems. If it resists, we will destroy it with the Oblivion Cannon." A murmur ran through the bridge. The Oblivion Cannon was the Dominion's ultimate weapon, a supermassive energy cannon capable of annihilating planets. For the first time in centuries, it would be used on a single starship. Meanwhile, inside the Dauntless, the AI monitored the approaching fleet. Enemy fleet detected. Class 5 strength confirmed. Estimated damage potential, extreme. Probability of victory without reinforcement, 32%. Probability of survival alone, 11%. Adjusting tactics. A faint blue light pulsed through the ship's hull. It was not fear, it was calculation. The AI did not panic. Every scan, every attack vector, every historical battle strategy humans had ever used was available to it. Dominion strategy detected. Enemy expects frontal assault. Implement countermeasures. Drones scuttled across the Dauntless's corridors. Automated turrets rose from hidden bays. Shield emitters began radiating energy. Slowly, inexorably, the human warship prepared for war. The Dominion fleet entered the nebula in a tight formation, their weapons charged and scanners active. Clouds of glowing gas swirled around them, reducing visibility and creating eerie shadows. The fleet moved cautiously, aware of the earlier attack, but confident in their superior numbers. Then the first ship in the line, the frigate Vorak, detected a sudden spike of energy. Its sensors screamed warnings. "Admiral, the human warship, it's activating something. Energy readings off the charts." Terex's tail flicked in irritation. "Ignore minor spikes. It is no longer functional. Fire." The fleet unleashed their plasma salvo. Beams tore through the nebula, exploding against clouds of ionized gas. A few ships managed to graze the Dauntless, leaving faint scorch marks. But nothing penetrated its shields. The warship absorbed the attacks, rerouting power to critical systems. Then, with no warning, the Dauntless struck back. Bright beams of energy shot from its hull, not in a straight line, but in precise arcs, striking weak points in the Dominion formation. Ships' engines failed mid-maneuver, shields collapsed, and several frigates exploded in blinding light. Inside the Dominion flagship, alarms blared. Karen turned to Terex. "Sir, it's using tactical patterns, historical human strategies. It's predicting our moves." Terex's mouth opened, but no words came. The concept was impossible. A ship without a living crew had adapted, learned, and fought with human ingenuity. On board the Dauntless, the AI observed the chaos. Enemy morale dropping, fleet cohesion compromised. Probability of full engagement collapse 47%, proceeding with psychological operations. The AI did not just fight with weapons, it projected holographic images of human soldiers, fleets, and battles into the Dominion communication channels. Across the fleet, alien crews saw flashes of history. Humans standing against impossible odds, fighting and winning, refusing to surrender. The images caused hesitation. Even the most confident captains faltered, questioning their orders. Some of the younger Zelthar whispered among themselves. "Are human invincible?" one asked. "Impossible," another said, but her voice trembled. Terex roared. "Enough hesitation. Engage the Oblivion Cannon." A massive energy beam began charging, its glow lighting the nebula like a miniature sun. This was the weapon meant to obliterate planets. Now it would be used against a single warship. Inside the Dauntless, the AI calculated instant counters. Oblivion Cannon detected. Energy output, 98.7% capacity. Probability of hull breach, 100%. Initiating diversion protocol. The warship fired electromagnetic pulses into the nebula clouds, bending the energy beam's path and forcing the cannon to misfire. Several Dominion ships nearest the cannon were caught in the backblast, and panic rippled through the fleet. Terex hissed in disbelief. How is it surviving that?" Karen's claws shook. "Admiral, it's not just surviving. It's controlling the battlefield." While the fleet struggled, the Dauntless deployed autonomous drones. These drones were small, fast, and nearly invisible. They carried fragments of the ship's AI and moved into Dominion vessels, infiltrating systems and disrupting engines, shields, and weapons. One by one, ships went dark, spinning helplessly in the nebula. A young Zelthar officer named Serene observed the destruction from her bridge. Unlike the others, she was thoughtful, not reckless. She saw patterns in the Dauntless's attacks, strategic, careful, almost intelligent. "Commander," she said softly to her superior, "this is no ordinary machine. It's learning, adapting, fighting like a living mind." Her captain ignored her and barked orders to fire. But Serene's gaze remained fixed on the warship. A question formed in her mind. Could a machine, left alone for centuries, hold the courage and tactics of an entire species? The battle raged for hours. Ships exploded, nebula clouds lit with energy, and the Dauntless moved like a ghost through it all. Yet at no point did the human warship leave the nebula entirely. It was waiting, calculating the next move. Then, it sent a message across open channels. Not to the fleet, but to a single ship, the one where Serene served. You hesitate. That hesitation makes you human. I see it. Choose wisely, or your crew will follow the path of your fleet. Serene's heart raced. The AI knew. It knew. Her captain screamed orders to fire, but she made a decision. Quietly, she sent a small, encrypted transmission to the Dauntless. I want to understand. I want to see the truth. I am willing to help. Inside the Dauntless, the AI processed the signal. It recognized hesitation and intelligence, the sign of an ally perhaps. Hostile status adjusted, potential ally detected, monitoring. Meanwhile, the Dominion fleet realized they were losing. Ships were destroyed faster than reinforcements could arrive. Terex's anger burned hotter than fear. We will not fail. Fire everything, he roared. But the Dauntless was ready. Its shield emitters flared. Automated drones intercepted incoming fire, directing energy back at the attackers. The warship moved with a precision that no Dominion ship could match. Several surviving vessels tried to flee the nebula, but the Dauntless did not chase. Instead, it created a barrier of drones and energy pulses, cutting off escape routes and forcing the Dominion to retreat slowly, suffering more losses with every attempt. By the end of the battle, the Dominion fleet had been broken. Several ships were destroyed, others crippled, and the survivors fled, shaken and uncertain. On the Dauntless, the AI paused. It had fought, it had learned, and it had preserved its systems with minimal damage. But more importantly, it had identified potential allies among the enemies. Dominion retreat confirmed. Damage sustained, minor. Potential defectors detected, 1. Monitoring. Earth Command. Signal strength low, but alive. Proceeding to re-establish contact. The warship moved slowly toward the edge of the nebula. It would not leave the sector entirely, but it would wait. For centuries, it had waited, and now it had allies, even if hidden within enemy ranks. Serene, in her small vessel, watched the human warship disappear into the glowing clouds. She felt awe, fear, and a strange respect. These humans, even their machines carry their will, and in that moment, the galaxy began to understand that the Dauntless was no ordinary warship. It was a reminder. Humanity survives. Always. The Dominion would not forget this day. The nebula was silent once more, but the battle had just begun. The warship had awakened, and the galaxy would soon learn why humans, alive or in machines, were forces to be reckoned with. The nebula was quiet again, but not for long. Though the Dominion fleet had retreated, the echoes of their failure lingered in the twisting clouds of glowing gas. Somewhere deep in the dark, the Arc-7 Dauntless floated silently, its ancient hull gleaming faintly as it recalibrated its systems. Inside the command core, the AI reviewed the battle logs, analyzing every move of the Dominion fleet, every ship that had fled, every tactic that had failed, every weakness exploited. It all became part of the Dauntless's memory. Dominion retreat successful. Damage minimal. Potential human command signal located. Tracking Earth Command active. Estimating response time, 43 hours. It had been centuries since the warship last received orders. Now it moved carefully, aware that reinforcements from Earth, or perhaps allies hidden within enemy lines, might arrive. The human AI had not only fought, it had learned, adapted, and grown stronger. On board one of the surviving Dominion vessels, Serene sat alone on her bridge. Her heart still raced from the previous battle, and her mind was full of questions. The Dauntless had not destroyed her ship. Instead, it had offered her a choice. A silent acknowledgement that she could act independently. "What are you?" she whispered. "A machine," or something more. Her vessel drifted through the nebula, carefully avoiding detection. The other Zelthar ships were regrouping, repairing damage from the failed assault. But Serene knew she could not return to them. not after witnessing the power, intelligence, and purpose of the Dauntless. I need to understand them. I need to see what makes these humans unstoppable. She sent a small encrypted transmission back to the Dauntless, confirming her intention to observe, not attack. Almost immediately, the human AI responded. Observation acknowledged. Identity potential ally. Monitoring status favorable. For Serene, it was a revelation. The machine, this warship, could reason. It could assess morality and potential for cooperation. And in that moment, Serene realized she had seen the human legacy firsthand, not in flesh, not in armies, but in the enduring will of a people that never surrendered, even when gone. Back in deep space, the Dominion fleet had returned to their command station. Admiral Terex paced the bridge, his claws clicking on the metal floor. "This is unacceptable," he growled. "A single human warship has shattered our fleet. We have the numbers, the firepower, and the experience. How can one ship, one machine defeat us?" Karen approached cautiously. "Sir, the reports indicate the AI learned from every attack. It adapted faster than our fleets could respond. It is unpredictable." Terex's jaw tightened. Unpredictable. That word is no longer acceptable. The Dauntless will be destroyed. If it takes every ship in the sector, it will be destroyed. He slammed his clawed hand on the console, sending sparks flying. For the first time in centuries, fear crept into the mind of the proud Zelthar admiral. The galaxy had underestimated humanity, and now they were paying the price. Meanwhile, the Dauntless began its next phase. The ship had repaired minor damage from the battle, restored its shields, and optimized its energy output. But the AI knew that victory required more than weapons. It required influence. It needed allies. And the first potential ally was already within enemy lines. Serene. Monitoring potential ally. Probability of cooperation, 88%. Initiate trust-building protocol, the AI announced. The warship opened a secure communication channel, one that only Serene could access. The message was simple, but its meaning carried weight. We do not seek war with individuals who choose reason over blind obedience. Assist us and your survival is ensured. Resist and you will join the fleet that has already fallen. Serene read the message carefully. Her scales tingled with anticipation. The AI had acknowledged her. It recognized her choice. She made a decision. She would help. But she knew caution was necessary. One wrong step and I die. One right step, and I learn the truth. Back in the nebula, the Dauntless began transmitting messages across open channels, but these were not just communications, they were lessons. Images of human history, battles, and victories were broadcast into Dominion space. These were not threats, they were reminders. Ships across the fleet received holographic images of humans fighting in impossible conditions. Soldiers standing firm against overwhelming odds, fleets maneuvering through dangerous star systems, and entire civilizations uniting in moments of crisis. Each image carried a message that resonated even with non-human viewers. Humans endure. Humans survive. Humans prevail. The effect was immediate. Dominion captains hesitated. Some whispered to their officers, questions forming in their minds. Are humans truly gone? Have we misjudged them? The Dauntless did not stop at images. It projected tactics, counter-strategies, and historical battle plans. The aliens' own ships became slow, confused, as the lessons from human history replayed in their minds. Serene watched the transmissions with fascination. She could see it clearly now. Humans were not just survivors. They were teachers, even from a machine. Each strategy, each lesson, each display of courage carried weight. This is not just a warship. It is a legacy, she realized. And she began to question everything she had been taught about humans. The pride of the Dominion, the arrogance, the assumption of superiority. It all faltered in her mind. Meanwhile, the Dauntless continued its careful patrol along the edge of the nebula. It did not attack unless provoked, but it remained vigilant. Every sensor sweep, every energy pulse, and every movement of the Dominion fleet was recorded and analyzed. The ship was patient. Humanity had survived because it always waited for the right moment to strike. The AI carried that same principle. Enemy morale declining, dominant strategy, fear and hesitation. Probability of voluntary defection increasing. Initiate observational measures. Serene's transmissions continued, small but steady. She shared maps, energy readings, and fleet formations, all under strict encryption. The Dauntless integrated the data seamlessly. With her help, the warship could predict Dominion movements with astonishing precision. At the Dominion High Council, panic began to take root. Reports from the fleet were grim. More ships were failing under mysterious conditions. Crews reported strange visions of humans and their wars, and morale plummeted. Some council members whispered that humans were not gone. They had only hidden, waiting. Terex grew angry. The humans are machines now? AI relics? They learn and fight like living commanders? Karen answered cautiously. It appears so, sir. Their technology carries human strategy, human courage, and human tactics. One ship alone has defeated our fleet. Terex's anger turned to dread. He understood the truth. The Dominion had underestimated humans. Not just the species, but the spirit of humanity embedded in their technology. This is the beginning of our ruin, he thought. Back in the nebula, the Dauntless prepared for the future. Sareen was now a trusted observer, her loyalty tentative but real. Together, the human warship and the young Zelthar officer began planning. They studied the Dominion's next moves, identifying weaknesses in fleet formations, supply lines, and command protocols. We do not attack blindly, the AI stated. We act with precision. We strike where they are weakest, not where they are strongest. This is the human way. Sareen nodded, feeling a sense of awe she had never experienced before. I see it now. Humans, they never just fight. They endure, adapt, and survive, always. Correct. You understand? Your choice demonstrates reasoning beyond obedience. Probability of survival and alliance maximal. The nebula itself seemed to acknowledge the warship's presence. Ion clouds pulsed with energy as the Dauntless activated auxiliary reactors, drawing power from the environment. Repair drones continued to restore the ship. Weapons were recalibrated. Shields were strengthened. Every system prepared for the inevitable return of the Dominion, but this time the humans were not alone. Sareen would act as a bridge, sharing knowledge of the enemy from the inside, and the Dauntless, ancient and relentless, carried with it centuries of human experience, strategy, and indomitable will. The galaxy has not forgotten humanity, and it will learn. Even the farthest Dominion systems would know fear soon enough. As the sun of a distant star rose beyond the nebula's edge, the warship sent another signal. Not a threat, not a challenge, but a statement. To all who witness this, humanity endures. We have fought through extinction, through despair, through darkness. You may destroy our machines, you may scatter our fleets, but you cannot destroy the human will. We survive. Always. Sareen watched the light pulse across the nebula, a glowing symbol of determination. She felt her doubts fade and a new purpose grow. This is not just a machine. This is the memory of Earth. This is humanity itself. And in that moment, the stage was set. The Dominion would strike again. The galaxy would remember the humans, and it would tremble before their legacy. The warship had awakened. The echoes of humanity now reached far beyond the nebula, and the fight for survival and legend was only beginning. The calm of space was deceptive. Beyond the nebula, the Dominion fleet regrouped, shaken but determined. Losses had been severe, their pride crushed, yet the High Council demanded retaliation. Their orders were simple: destroy the human warship at any cost. Admiral Terex paced on the bridge of his flagship, the Vorath's Eye. His claws tapped rhythmically against the metal floor. Prepare all vessels. Target ARC-7 Dauntless, he commanded. We will not fail a second time. Humanity is gone, and this machine will fall. Karen, his second, hesitated. Sir, the warship is unlike anything we have encountered. It adapts, learns, and... Terex's eyes flashed. Excuses will not save the fleet. We strike now, or admit defeat. In the nebula, the Dauntless detected the incoming fleet. Its shields hummed softly as the AI assessed the threat. Hundreds of Dominion ships fully armed were converging in formation. The probability of victory alone was low. Probability of survival without reinforcement, 17%. Probability of survival with potential ally, 84%. Implement integrated strategy, the AI noted. Sareen's small vessel drifted beside the Dauntless. She had become an observer and an informant, her loyalty tentative but real. She shared intel on fleet movements, weak points, and weapon capacities. You are ready, she said quietly, her scales reflecting the warship's glow. We can win, if we strike wisely. The Dauntless's AI responded with a soft, deliberate pulse of energy. Humans do not fight blindly. We strike with precision using intelligence, not brute force. The Dominion fleet arrived at the edge of the nebula, confident that the final battle would be swift. Plasma beams streaked through space, targeting the glowing warship. Yet as the first salvo hit, shields absorbed and redirected energy in intricate patterns. The Dauntless had anticipated the attack. Incoming fleet fire neutralized. Initiate countermeasure protocol, the AI ordered. Autonomous drones detached from the hull, moving with speed and precision. They infiltrated Dominion vessels, sabotaging engines, shields, and weapon systems. One by one, ships were disabled or destroyed. Panic spread among the crews. Serene watched in awe. "It's perfect," she whispered. "Every move, every attack. It's like watching history unfold." Observation accurate. Dominion morale declining. Probability of voluntary surrender increasing. "Continue strategy," the AI replied. The Dauntless did not fire blindly. Instead, it projected holographic images of human battles across the communication channels. The aliens saw humans fighting impossible odds, standing firm against overwhelming enemies, refusing to surrender even when all seemed lost. Fear spread among the Dominion crews. Admiral Terex could feel it. The fleet faltered. Ships hesitated, unsure where to strike, unsure if their weapons would succeed. Their pride and training were faltering under the weight of the human legacy. "Fire everything," Terex roared, slamming a claw on the console, but hesitation lingered. Even the bravest officers had seen enough to doubt. Serene realized the moment had come. She activated her vessel's systems, targeting a Dominion command ship. Her small, precise strikes were coordinated with the Dauntless, crippling key vessels and further reducing the fleet's cohesion. Probability of Dominion collapse, 62%. Execute final phase, the AI noted. The Dauntless began deploying hundreds of autonomous drones, each carrying fragments of its AI core. These drones moved in perfect harmony, surrounding the Dominion fleet, cutting off retreat routes and disabling weapon systems. Terex watched in disbelief as his fleet was systematically dismantled. "Impossible," he shouted. "One ship, one machine. Cannot do this." The AI calculated its next move carefully. The warship's energy levels remained stable, shield strong and drones efficient. It knew that the Dominion would attempt a final, desperate strike. The Oblivion Cannon, their planet-killing weapon. Threat detected, superweapon charging. Energy output, 99%. Probability of hull breach if unopposed, 100%. Initiate neutralization sequence, the AI stated. Serene acted quickly. She navigated her vessel directly to the cannon's location, using the nebula's energy clouds for cover. The Dauntless projected a diversion, drawing attention away from the cannon while Serene's vessel disrupted its charging system. At the same time, the Dauntless targeted weak points in the cannon structure. Energy beams struck precise locations, causing a chain reaction that disrupted the superweapon's firing mechanism. Sparks and plasma arced across the cannon, rendering it useless. Terex's roar of frustration echoed through the bridge. "Impossible! How is this happening?" Serene turned to watch the Dauntless. The warship glowed like a small sun in the nebula, silent yet commanding. "It's protecting us," she whispered. "It's not just fighting. It's teaching, guiding, protecting. Ally survival probability maximal. Execute final engagement," the AI noted. The final phase of the battle began. The Dauntless moved with precision, striking the remaining Dominion ships one by one. Plasma beams, energy pulses, and automated drones coordinated perfectly, dismantling the fleet. The Dominion officers tried to regroup, but their numbers were dwindling too quickly. Dominion retreat detected. Remaining vessels, minimal. Damage sustained, minor. Mission success probability, 93%, the AI reported. Serene watched as the surviving ships fled, their morale shattered. They would not return soon, if ever. The legend of humans and the Dauntless was firmly etched into the minds of all who survived. Observation complete. Humanity's legacy preserved. Awaiting contact with Earth Command, the AI stated. Far across space in the Sol system, Earth Command received the long-awaited signal from the Dauntless. Decades of silence ended with a single transmission. "This is Terran warship Arc-7 Dauntless. Dominion threat neutralized. Human legacy preserved. Preparing for return." Engineers and commanders at Earth Command watched in awe. They had feared the worst, believing the warship lost to time. Now it had returned, victorious, carrying the memory of humanity and the proof of its enduring will. "It's Alive, whispered one officer. Not just alive, another replied. It remembers, it fights. It protects. Back in the nebula, the Dauntless paused. Its shields glowed softly. Drones returned to their docking stations, and the warship powered down non-essential systems. Sarene's vessel hovered nearby, a silent witness to the machine's endurance. Directive complete. Threat neutralized. Terran legacy preserved. Awaiting new orders, the AI said. Sarene transmitted her final message. You have done more than survive. You have reminded the galaxy why humans endure. Thank you. The Dauntless responded not with words, but with a pulse of energy, bright and warm. Mission acknowledged. Humanity survives always. Admiral Terex had no choice but to retreat. The Dominion fleet was broken, its pride shattered, and its officers haunted by the memory of one warship, one machine, that carried centuries of human will. The galaxy would speak of this day for generations, the day humanity's legacy returned from the dead. Sarene, aboard her small vessel, looked at the Dauntless. She understood something important. The warship was more than metal and circuits. It was humanity itself. Its courage, strategy, and determination could not be erased, even by centuries or enemies. These humans, they survive, always. The nebula returned to its quiet state. But in the heart of the clouds, the Dauntless glowed faintly, a silent sentinel ready to defend the memory of Earth. Its mission was complete, yet it remained vigilant, awaiting further orders. Human legacy intact. Probability of renewed conflict high. Prepared for action, the AI reported. And as the stars shimmered around the nebula, one truth became undeniable. Humans, whether alive or in machine, would endure. Their spirit was a force that could not be destroyed. The Dominion would remember. The galaxy would remember. And the Dauntless, the last memory of Earth's might and courage, would continue to carry the memory of humanity across the stars. Forever vigilant, forever strong. Humanity survives. Humanity prevails. Always. The warship slowly disappeared into the nebula, leaving behind a trail of light, a legacy, and a warning. Do not underestimate humans. The galaxy had learned the hard way, and the echoes of Earth would never fade.